Survivor News.
Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News.
Survivor News.
Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News. Survivor News.
What is going on? Your baby boys are back, delivering your weekly dose of Survivor News, covering Survivor Season 48, Episode 4, The Baby Boys. I feel like I just seen The Baby Boys, but we are back, fresh from Nashville, the winner of Ghost Island and the first Boots.
You want to do that right now?
The winner of Ghost Island. You're not the winner of Ghost Island?
Go ahead. I'm the winner of Ghost Island, but don't
winner
go to the files right now. Jack, I had him admit it last night. He said,
"Whoa,
you're not the first merge boot."
What?
I can't. I don't. He must have been under the influence. What did you give him?
The influence of Siva. I'm not sure of what you're talking about, but we have the winner of Ghost Island and the first merge boot, Wendy Holland. Let's okay, hold on. What do you have? We're starting to unconventional. What do you have, Wendell?
ISO on when? Okay. Bryce Isaiah.
Wait, what?
I don't know how you got on the front of this car. ISO on when?
I will turn on my windshield wipers right now.
Okay. Huh? Wendell is not the first merge boot.
Oh!
You were threatening him, though. That's what happened.
I don't understand how you can take any of that serious if I am on the front of a car and you're recording. That seems dangerous. So no.
You were holding him hostage.
Right. That is not admissible.
I didn't tell him to get on a windshield.
Survivor News. But listen, Wendy, enough of you. Welcome to the ring, okay? Hailing in from CT, Connecticut by the way of Los Angeles.
Ding, ding, ding.
In the heavyweight champion of the Circle Season 2, let's welcome to the podcast, Jackery Atkins. Oh.
Woo!
Already fired up. Just you guys love to wind me up and just let me go.
Somebody said in the YouTube comments, they said their favorite part of Survivor News is us ganging up on Jack like clockwork for no reason. Well, listen, the Survivor News has expanded because the baby boy Jack had a week. Okay.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Jack. Ooh, listen. Y'all know we got a lot to get into, but listen, the baby boy Jack has had a week, y'all. Y'all been beating Jack up from the left to the right. If it's not one thing, it's another. But listen, let's kick it off because Queen Say, after last week's episode, took to the streets of X and said, my first order of business will be getting on this Purple Pants podcast and having a clear conversation with Jack because this man is always loud and wrong. First of all, I feel like we need some Purple Pants podcast merch, and I think I might have to have Tricky create a shirt that says loud and wrong. And from there, Jack, the dog piling on the Jack Shack commenced. It didn't just stop there. Jack felt some type of way about spoilers. Okay, that went left. You got Tevin, aka Camila, still tweeting Jack to this day. Then the baby boy Robert and Chappelle went on Club Condo and had a thing for Jack as well. But listen, I heard it, I screenshotted it and sent it to Jack.
You're an instigator.
Jack acted like it wasn't a big thing. Then come to find out, Wendy,
he was
Jack was in club condo writing paragraphs.
It could not be a huge thing, and I could still respond, right?
Oh my God! Nah, you had
no, it was a crazy. I knew I've been getting ready all week, preparing to talk about all this stuff. We can go one thing. I don't know where you guys want to start. I have a lot to say. Where do you guys even want to start? Because I'm ready to defend I have some things. I'm ready to defend myself. I'm ready to admit some. I have a lot. You know, it's not all going to be me standing 10 toes down, but I'm going to be standing 9 toes down, and maybe my little pinky toe
Bryce
a little bit.
The only thing I'm saying, Bryce, I'm glad that finally, for once in life, the dog piling ain't on me, okay?
Classic Wendell. Okay. We got classic Wendell, and now we got loud and wrong Jack. Okay. Jack, the floor is not lava this week, but the floor is yours. Wherever you want to go, wherever you want to take it. But I do just want to say, because there was a dog piling on Jack this week, and did I love it? Yes. But I will just say one thing, right? Jackie is our baby boy. And listen, you in the posse, if you're a part of the posse, you can join in on the fun. But if you're not a part of the posse, we don't play about our baby boy. So let's just be clear on that real quick, okay? Because it's all fun and games. And when it's fun and games, we're going to have fun and games. But let me just be clear. We don't play about our baby boy. And I don't want to have to get active in these streets, but I do want to say, before you take the floor, Jack, there was a black queen that was in the YouTube comments, and she said, as a member of the Jack Shack, I will help Jack get ready for any fight he needs. And so I just want you to know, Jack, you know, you the Jack Shack got beat up, but the Jack Shacks was looking like Thomas's eye. Okay.
Look, the Jack Shack members, it's a silent majority. You know, we all right, relax. We move. We're not the Jack. I might be loud and wrong, but the Jack Shack moves silent and right. So, and they come correct. So I appreciate you guys looking out. Man, it was a crazy week. When this all started breaking out Saturday too, I was on set for this pilot as well. So it was a whirlwind of a day. I kind of liked it because we had a lot of downtime during the day on set, and this kept me very entertained. There's literally like so many things I have to address that I feel like I just got canceled, and this is like my press conference of apologizing for everything that happened. So, but I'm not fully apologizing. All right. So let me start with some good. Right.
Wendell, did he just say, let me start? Okay. He's got an itinerary.
I got an itinerary with the good things. Okay. A lot of you might have known that Mary and I perhaps had a little bit of beef. I'd like to announce that beef is officially squashed. Mary and I talked it out. I believe so. Mary and I have talked it out. And, you know, I apologize for communicating my thoughts poorly. Mary said that she thought about it more and thought that she kind of I don't want to put words in her mouth, but kind of overreacted to what I had said. I said I was messing with her. Like I'm a Mary fan, and we're cool. And I'm always cool for a little friendly beef, and I don't mind if someone claps back at what I have to say. So Mary, I'm cool with Mary. One of my favorites on the season. Regarding the spoilers,
favorite but not athletic.
Two things can be true. Well, I'm not unathletic, but I could stand by generally what I look. It wasn't, and also learning more about Kevin's injury, I wasn't fully right about that. But given what I knew at the time, I thought it was a reasonable point to make, and it was something I threw out that I just postulated and posed to you guys. Like, could this be a thing? It wasn't like Mary is not going to challenge. So, and then more information came out. It's not a big deal. I think Mary is hilarious. I think she's playing a good strategic game. I don't think she's Jonathan Young out there, but like that's not my criteria for who I like. I'm a Sandra fan. Sandra would be the first one to tell you she's not the most. I'm not comparing those two athletically,
but Wendell, is Jack bringing Sandra in there? Okay.
Watch out, because the queen will get you.
I'm cool with
We
Sandra. So
know the queen very well.
I think Sandra would be the first to tell you. She'll be the first to volunteer to sit out. But that doesn't mean she's not a great player and that she's not hilarious and like a great one of the all-time greats. Okay, cool. And then with the spoiler thing, I feel like, and also I want to say up front. I hope people don't misinterpret my passion about all of these things with like anger, right? So I feel like a lot of people last week, I got very passionate. I'm very excited. And I feel like some people misinterpret that as me like calling people out, whatever. No, I'm just excited. Okay. But with the spoiler thing, I could see how, with that passion last week, it came across as a little bit like aggressive or entitled or whatever. I maintain that, look, obviously I know that there are going to be spoilers online and that myself and other people need to do our best to stay offline to avoid those spoilers. With that being said, I could also say, if you're going to right when the episode ends on Easter time, if you're like, it would be nice. It would be a considerate thing to not post spoilers because sometimes people slip up and that really sucks when you get spoiled, or just put like a little bit of a disclaimer, right? And people made points that like, it's good for building community. It's good for people to be allowed to discuss. And that's a valid point, and that's why I'm walking back on my stance a little bit. But at the same time, like, can we not be mindful and be a little bit considerate? Like, I maintain that that's a fair thing to say because I feel like people were saying that I was asking just for me not to be spoiled. Like, that is ridiculous. There's 16% of the country lives in the Pacific time zone, and I think most of them would agree. Of course, we try to stay offline.
Not the 16%.
Jack, numbers.
Jack said, listen, it's the 16%. Okay.
I had to do my read. 60%. We all know to stay offline. Like, I'm not going on Reddit reading everyone's posts, but even Reddit has time-sensitive spoilers so that you don't log on and just get spoiled, because we all agree that spoilers suck. And I think we know on the Pacific Coast to stay offline. Sometimes myself or others slip up, and that's just why I would be considerate to not just be posting spoilers. But I can admit, I posted a poll on my own Instagram, and 75% of the people said I was in the wrong. And when that happens, I can adjust. I'm happy to adjust my view. I'm not just going to be like if the majority of people can agree on something, I can realize that there's some validity in that point, right? Okay. So those are all the things I wanted to like pivot my stance on.
Okay.
What I'm not going to pivot my stance on.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait. Okay. Jack.
Look.
Did you hear the?
I got time today.
Did you hear the bass in his voice when?
No problem.
Okay.
Wendell fully left the screen. Okay. With this the Say tweet. And I feel like, Say's been active on Twitter for a few months. So I get that it's not maybe just a me thing. Like, this could be fun. It's a fun beef, whatever. But to say that I'm always look, I'm the type, I think a lot of things are very nuanced, and I don't like to look at things as black and white. But to say that I'm always loud and wrong, when if you listen to the last episode, I actually think I said an overwhelmingly positive things about Say. I said that I thought in the Green Tribe, she performed the best of anybody that episode. I thought she said that she fought for her life at Tribal Council pretty much perfectly and made some really good points. But she latched onto my only critique, which is that it was ridiculous to say that you knew it or that I told you so to everybody, when the shot in the dark is literally not something that you can predict. And given that, like, her plan was that she would split a vote, well, then if you knew it, then you could have split your vote. Like, no one was stopping you. And so for her to say I'm always loud and wrong, well, if I'm always wrong, then all of my positive comments about her must also be wrong. So that's what I'm saying. I was genuinely confused how I said so many good things, and for her to latch onto the one thing that I think is objectively correct of me saying it's a bad look to say, oh, I knew it, when first it looked as though she was saying, oh, I knew Mary had an idol, which wasn't true. And then that the shot in the dark was going to hit. I just said there's no way to know that. And then all of a sudden, like, so I can respect her. And look, I would love to have her on the podcast. There's so many things that happen that we don't see.
We won't have her.
So if she wants to come on and clear that up and say, oh, this was more the context of what happened, I'm open to changing my mind. But to say that I'm always loud and wrong when I think 80% of the things that I said were good about her, it's like, what, did you not listen to the rest of the podcast? Like, I'm confused. Also, again, like, I'm sure it's frustrating for the players to listen to us. I think, Wendell, I'm very happy with how I'm doing. You're going to say I'm digging my... Also, whoever chimed in and maybe agreed with her or whatever, nobody told me why that point was incorrect.
So,
nobody,
Jack, real quick, yes or no? Did Cedric make the right decision?
No.
Oh,
Wait. This is not a crazy thing to say. I said last week that Cedric burned bridges with Say, and we saw this week Say began to distrust Cedric and throw him under the bus and align herself with Mary. Shouldn't even be a discussion. And it's not a bad decision because he kept, like, because of anything to do with Say. It's a bad decision because he voted for her twice and got rid of his number one. That, I think Say would actually agree with me that my point of him burning that bridge, it's going to hurt his relationship with Say, and we see that that's already the case. So I don't, like, yeah, I mean, what I said last week, to the point of me being always loud and wrong, my prediction of what would happen from last week is being realized this week already, because Say is throwing Cedric under the bus and not as tight with him, right? We can all agree on that. And so, sorry, where was it? But yeah, I just feel like.
Wait, are you reading? Did you write a statement?
No, I'm just, you guys are on the side of my screen, so I'm looking on the side of the screen like you guys. No, it's so, again, like, always loud and wrong, but like the things that I've been saying are mostly seem to be true. And of course, obviously, I can understand why the players, we don't know all the information, right? But our job as podcasters is to take what we see happen and just discuss it. And we're not going to know everything. So obviously we're going to be wrong a lot. Like, I've been wrong a ton, and that's just like the name of it. But that's like the name of the game. Like, if we were just to sit here and say, woo, everybody's doing a great job, like, we love everybody, like, nobody's making any mistakes, it's Survivor. Like, 17 of those people are going to mess up and lose. So it wouldn't be very interesting podcast if all we had to say was good things, if we never critiqued anybody, right? So and then this is where I was frustrated with Robert. Is that
you calling him Rob? Wait, time out. We got
Whoa.
Okay, listen, Rob. Okay, wait.
No, but I didn't think that what Rob and Chappelle said was at all, like, disrespectful to me. But Rob was talking about, like, and it's a fair, one of his points was that if he was, as a player, if he was in Say's shoes, that hearing people that have not played Survivor comment on your game and tell you what you should have done would be frustrating. And I can agree with that. But the thing is, our podcast is not designed for me to be telling the players what they should have done. It's for our audience of thousands of other people that didn't play Survivor and want to hear analysis. And so if Say chooses to listen to our podcast, then you're opening up the opportunity to maybe hear some things that you don't like. And it's never my intention to personally put anybody down. I've never once spoken poorly about any single player from a personal standpoint. It's always game related. And so if I say 80% good things and then 20% bad, and you choose to latch onto the 20% bad, then maybe you're projecting. I don't know what to say. Right? I mean, look, who's projecting? Like, anyone who chooses to latch, like it's not like I'm calling them up or going up face to face and being like, oh, you should have done this. You should have, like, that's just bad form. But on our podcast, where it's our opinions, I'm going to give my opinion. And like,
Jack, you slinging. Oh, you slinging, Jack.
And then, I have a lot to say. And also, like, not that this is what Say was saying, but I did see other people online like
What were they saying?
insinuating that me having issues with Say's gameplay or saying Mary was unathletic, that was like somehow misogynistic. And I don't even want to dwell on that because I don't want to like harp on it too much, but I think that's ridiculous. I like last season, who did I give the most crap to on the podcast? Probably Gabe, right? Season 43, when Gabler won, I think I gave Gabler the most like poor reviews. And obviously I was wrong about that because he won. Think about season 40, Winners at War. I was all over Ben Driebergen saying that his gameplay was terrible. And so like in the day and age of Survivor, when over half, like at least half the cast is going to be, people of color. Obviously half the cast is going to be women. There's going to be like, just because I critique someone, like if I have criticism for someone, like chances are, like it's not personal. Like I've criticized all sorts of players. And so just because this season it happens to be Say, like I just want to dispel that. Like it's just, that to me felt ridiculous. And that's where I sort of took issue, because I don't like that being thrown at me without any sort of evidence, like if it was a pattern, then sure. But like, it's just, I've given criticism to all sorts of people.
So can I respond to that?
Yeah, I know I've been going.
No, but Jack, the floor is yours. Pop off. My one criticism, because listen, here on Survivor News, we keep it real. Is Jack misogynistic? Absolutely not, right? However, do you have some bias? A little, right? And like, but here's the thing, like, that's from your lived experience. And I'm not mad at that. Do I have some bias? Absolutely, right? And so are you not open to hearing other people's opinions and thoughts? And like, you come from a specific, like, you are a heterosexual white man, and that like, you have a view. And so like, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? And like, you speak your view. That's why we're friends, right? Like, it's like, we don't agree a lot. We fight a lot. Like, and so it's like, are you misogynistic?
Oh my word.
Misogynistic? Absolutely not, right? But do you have some blinders? Absolutely. We all have blinders. And I think that to some people, maybe it rings a little louder, but like, Jack, you're a great person. You love everybody. But like,
I can accept that feedback, and it's always something I'm trying to work on. But at the same, like, if like, of course, we all have our subconscious biases, but I think that applies to everybody. And so, and like I said, I've cited instances where I've criticized straight white guys, and so just because right now it happens to be, I don't even want to get on the weeds on it, but like, everyone can get the smoke. Like, it's not,
and that is fair.
As far as it goes, to less about this particular instance and more about, I guess, maybe you're saying like general, my stance on things. I'm very open to working on that, but I just would hate for this beef to get twisted in any sort of way.
And I don't think that it is, though, right? Like, I think that, of course, you see some comments, but like, let's be clear. Like, I don't think that it's that.
Yeah. And, I'm not saying that the majority, like, it's probably a very, very, very few, but I just wanted to address that because that bothers me, because I try my best, to be as welcoming and accepting of all sorts.
And you absolutely are, though. So like, we're not questioning that, Jack. And again,
I
don't like. A couple of people in this world I don't play about, right? Okay, it's Barb, it's Winnie, it's Little Kim, it's Wendell, and it's Jack. I don't, I don't play about my baby boy, and I don't surround myself with people that are like that. And so, like, I don't want you. This is lighthearted and fun, Jack. And so, like, and here's another thing, Jack be a little sensitive sometimes, right? Like Jack say what he say, but he do be a little sensitive. And so I I do want to be sensitive to your feelings and your emotion, but like you're very much celebrated and appreciated, Jack. We don't agree all the time, and that's like the best thing about us is. So I
That's
just
how
want to
we
say
learn
that.
from each other too. So
Absolutely. When DZ, you want to wait, time out, Jack, because now we're almost 30 minutes in, Jack, and I don't think when DZ has said anything. Here go the comments.
I'm just saying, Bryce, can you say misogynistic again for us?
Massage-manistic.
Because that word was beating you up worse than the internet was beating
Okay,
Jack
beat
up.
Jack up. But yeah, no, wait, Jack. But Wendell, chime in. Like,
Jack, you're our brother. We love you. We all have our biases. You're right, and Bryce and I like to joke about yours. But at the end of the day, we know you're well intentioned. We know that you speak what you feel on this pod, and we love you for that. And so does the Jack Shack. And then the haters that are out there, they gonna hate on you, and it's a beautiful thing because we love that too.
yeah,
So shout out to the Jack haters.
for sure. Well, yeah, no, I appreciate. I know you guys like think that. I don't know. Like not like it does. I'll be honest. It bothers me sometimes the way that like you guys are trying to like emphasize that I have these, like, for example, when we did our Survivor All-Stars draft, you guys were constantly joking, oh, he's gonna pick all the straight white guys. And I looked at my last pick was like, I don't think I had a single straight white guy on my team, right? And so, and like my favorites this season, and you guys like joke about who are my favorites gonna be this season. It's like Kyle, Thomas, and Star. So it's like you guys say all these like I don't like, and I know you mean it well, and it's like lighthearted, but I feel like it does sometimes perpetuate this narrative that I don't agree with. And so, I don't like, and I think the whole thing is like the beauty of the diversity initiative that you guys helped to institute is that you see yourself represented on screen more, and that's really fun. Like to me, I always like growing up, I was just like, you want to see people that look like you, and sometimes there's someone that reminds me of myself. Obviously, usually they might be more physically similar to me, but you're like, oh, that could be. But like for anybody else, like they're gonna have the same reaction with people that are similar to them. And so, who I root for, I don't also think is like like indicative of any biases. It's just like this is the person I relate the most to. And like this season, I think the person I relate the most to is probably Kyle. And so like what can I say? I'm a bro, but it doesn't have anything to do with I always just enjoy like putting myself in a certain player's shoes and kind of thinking about how I would maneuver. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I'm sure that I stand by pretty much like everything, like within the last 20 minutes, I stand by everything I said. I don't know if I'm not saying that it was all necessarily 100% right or accurate, but that's the best I think I could defend myself. I just don't.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just like, I know Say was like, it partly seemed to be fun, right? Like, it's not like just say like, it's not like, oh, I hate Jack Atkins. Like it's okay. Like it's not that big a deal, but I just, basically my rebuttal is like, well, I've said so many good things. Even my commentary on Cedric's decision last week already proving to look true in the eyes of Say. So just, it's like, clearly I'm not always loud and wrong. And then also it's like, obviously I can understand Say being frustrated, and Rob for that matter, of like, oh, well, we don't know everything going on. It would be hard to listen to, someone like myself commenting on it. But like, that's the whole point. Like, is that not the point of, of course, and maybe Say will come in and shed some light on things that we weren't aware of. And then I could be like, oh, damn, I didn't know that. Like that, okay, like that changes things. Like that's literally the whole point of us talking about what we see in the episode. Like we can't talk about things that we literally don't know happen. So we're going to be wrong a lot. And like, that's kind of the point. And then, I don't know. Also,
okay.
Like for Rob, for Rob, like, look, I don't know if it was meant to be like, he questioned about people that haven't played the game podcasting about Survivor and how that would be difficult to listen to. But like,
Talk about it.
I wonder about how the 90% of people that work for your podcast network that also haven't been on a like Survivor would feel about that opinion. But I don't think that anything he said was incorrect, right? Like if I was a player, I would agree that, oh, well, that person hasn't even played. Like, why should I even listen? Which is valid. And I guess the answer to that is you don't have to listen. But just because someone hasn't played in the NBA doesn't mean that they can't comment on basketball. Like it's, you know what I mean?
But LeBron might pull up on Stephen A.
Okay,
Sure.
Are you
But if LeBron's rolling with a bunch of people that have never touched that haven't touched the basketball, then it's a little bit hypocritical. And I love Rob. I'm a big fan of Rob. So maybe that's why I was just a little bit like, it wasn't necessarily him like it wasn't malicious, but I was just like, well, I feel like I'm catching some shade here, but it just felt a little hypocritical. And I respected Chappelle at the end saying that, you know, he and I are in the same boat in that sense, and that doesn't mean that Chappelle has great takes. So like I'm all for, you know, if you have good opinions about Survivor, I don't care if you've played or not, because it doesn't take obviously it takes a former Survivor to know all the ins and outs and the nuances, but it does not take a former Survivor to understand basic strategy and to have interesting opinions on it.
So now that we're at the 30-minute mark.
Okay, Jack, because Jack, you know, the people about to say, well,
Survivor. I'm sure the people probably some of them were waiting for my response. And so that was but okay. And I didn't mean that if you're a Purple Pants podcast listener, there's chances are you've heard me catching smoke nationwide the last week. And so
not nationwide.
But it was a fantastic episode, so I really do want to get into talking about it.
Yeah, well, we got to let Wendeezy talk.
Thank you. Do we need to put a button on the smoke with the smoke from last night?
Yeah, I don't even know. You guys called me, but I don't really understand.
Oh my God. Well, first of all, listen, the baby boys were in Nashville. Nashville showed out. The baby boy might have had a little bit too much fun. I had so much fun that I had after the party, there was an after party. And I incessantly were calling Wendeezy and Jack. Wendell didn't always pick up, but listen, say what you want about Jack, but he picked up my phone call. Jack was playing some video games. Jack was eating some hot wings with some ranch sauce. Okay, we had a good old time with the baby boy Jack yesterday. But mind you, then while we was at our watch party in Nashville, okay, a posse member pulled up to me and said, "Hey, I know Jack's been having a tough week, and I don't want to add on to it, but I want to tell you something." I said, "Wendell, come here." Jack, somebody that you was on the dating app with, swipe right with, y'all was communicating. But and mind you, she was a very pretty young lady. I believe her name was Jocelyn. And I guess you kind of sort of ghosted her, but not now. Listen, y'all, if y'all listening, can I tell y'all the reason of how Jack ghosted this posse?
Okay, this is connected already incorrect, but go ahead.
Okay, well,
it's a 9 to 5. How much I got to defend myself out here?
Yeah. Well, listen, I guess one of the things that they hinged on was like Survivor, and you know, they was chatting about Survivor. I don't know what happened, but essentially, Jack was like, "I gotta let you go. I'm about to podcast. I can't. I guess there was a date, and then at the last minute, Jack said, "I can't make it. I got a podcast with Wendeezy and Bryce."
Wait, that's not even what you told me last night.
What did I tell you last night?
Well, hey, you said this was someone from West Virginia, and I haven't been.
That was the tie-in.
They said because Jack
I haven't been in like 2 years, so this would have been like a 2-year-old situation. So what I think happens is look. I mentioned that I am a Survivor enthusiast in my Hinge profile. And
what do you say? What does it say?
It's just like
I love Survivor. I've got buffs.
No, I think it's like the prompt is like I geek out on, and I say astronomy and Survivor, because you know you got to have I would love to find a girl with common interests, and I love Survivor. I love astronomy. I love basketball. I love poker, and so you know if you're in any of those things,
Gambling.
Besides one. So and sometimes you know because to me, so sometimes girls will be like, "Oh, I love Survivor too," and then you talk about it, and then if the conversation's going well, I might be like, "Oh, really nerdy," but like I co-host a podcast, like it's a lot of fun. But that would be
so you use that. Oh,
well, if they're a Survivor, but that would never be my mechanism of like
so wait, time out.
ghosting someone. I wouldn't be like, "Oh, got a blast. I got to go podcast." Like, what happened? I mean, it's Hinge.
That's what they said.
If you're on Hinge or any dating app, you know that like a majority of conversations naturally fizzle out, especially if someone lives in a state that you're in that you don't even live in, and then you leave. And so it was never my intention to ghost anybody, but it's Hinge. Like conversations die down. I'm sure we were probably talking a little Survivor. Maybe I mentioned the podcast, and then the conversation fizzled out. And it wasn't.
Is that how the Jack Shack is growing, Jack?
Through Hinge?
Yes. Maybe my dating app experiences are a little different, because normally it's like room 305. Doors open.
Come inside.
Oh no.
Face down.
Bryce Isaiah.
Maybe I need to try Hinge.
I don't know
Okay.
about dating apps. So.
It's a little bit different on Hinge.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
listen,
no,
Jack.
that's cool. That's cool that she was there. Yeah, you guys just called me up like I had broken this
How did we
girl's
call
heart,
you
and
up?
I was like, I don't even. That was 2 years ago. I can't even really say.
How do we call you up, Jack? Hold on. Oh my God.
Don't. You can show it later, but don't show because I don't.
Okay.
I don't want to show other people's faces on the podcast.
Oh no, but here's the thing though, Jack. We're
Yeah, it's about time someone else gets some spice.
Wait,
here. Hold on.
we're just choking your chicken. Wait, first of all, she was there with her boyfriend. She absolutely adores you. And this comment wasn't made like negatively. It was just like,
cool,
hey, like,
cool.
So just
Yeah. No,
just so you know.
It sounds like she's cool.
Yeah,
then
no.
You guys are the problem. You guys are trying to yank my chain out.
Whoa.
Okay. We're just some boys choking a chicken. Jack. Listen, we are 37. Okay, for the timeout. Then last episode, because mind you know, also, Jack, shout out to Wendeezy. Wendeezy was in the comments last week. Shocker. Shocker. Wendeezy was in the YouTube comments, but I was cracking up because last week we went like 15 minutes in. You gave a number and you were like, podcast starts here. Somebody corrected us. They was like, no, 26:37. So around the 38-minute mark, we will get into the episode. But I do just want to say we were in Nashville last week. Nashville was an amazing, despite the weather, we had an epic time. We had Q, we had Sam, we had Julie, we had Owen.
We had a surprise guest appearance from my good friend from Ghost Island. Kellen Bechtold walked in the door and we were like,
and listen, Kellen don't play about Bryce because Q always makes this joke that Wendell perpetuates, and you kind of perpetuated too, Jack. And this gets me a little spicy, where it's like, oh, Bryce doesn't drive. I drive. I don't know why. I said, hey, Jack, remember that time I picked you up? And you were like, no.
So I perpetuated it just to you?
So you perpetuate this lie. But for whatever reason, I don't know why, like, when I defend myself, sometimes it's like I don't need to defend myself because it's like I know I drive. However, in the midst of Q, we were leaving on the pregame, and Q's like, Bryce, let me walk you to your car because I know where you're sitting. and he's walking me to the passenger seat, which Wendell rented a car. I didn't. So, but anyway, it was funny because Q was like, Bryce doesn't drive. Kellen didn't really know that it was a joke. When I tell you, Kellen Bechtel lit into Q. Kellen and Q, they was going back and forth for like 15 minutes. Kellen walked into our party with an attitude. I said, Kellen, you okay? She was like, no, I don't appreciate. I was like, Kellen is such a joke. And she was like, okay, I didn't know. So shout out to Kellen, because Kellen is a real one. We love Kellen. But Nashville was amazing. We have a week off, and then we are hitting the road back again. April 2nd, we will be in Chicago. Chicago is looking like an amazing time. From there, we'll be in Austin, April 23rd. From Austin, I believe we will be in Philadelphia. From Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., then Boston, then the finale. And yes, you wanted it. The finale tickets are now available, and they are percolating. So I'm just telling you now, please don't wait. We do have a new venue that is sexy and amazing. So there's plenty of space. But the way the tickets, once we went live, the way they are going, I'm just saying you want to be in the building. So please head over to bryceandwen.com, and let's see you for the second half of the BWP 48 tour. Okay. Jack, how you feeling?
I'm a little bit frazzled, to be honest with you. I just put in a whole shift. So I don't know where to
She
start.
ain't ready to moderate. Let's
It
just
was
get it.
it was a hell of an episode. Yeah, I guess I'll moderate. I definitely I know we want to hear more from Wen too, so I don't want to talk too much this episode because I just been talking for 40 minutes. But it was an amazing episode. Last week was amazing too, so I'm loving Survivor 48. I was devastated to see my winner pick and maybe my personal favorite, Thomas, go home. But with that being said, it was a phenomenal tribal. It was a great move by Kamilla and Kyle. There's only
Not too much, Bryce, on my Guyanese brother and sister. Not too much.
So
No,
Bryce, you might have beef with Kamilla now. It's like
no, I don't. No. I don't have no beef with Camilla.
Oh,
You
cool,
said
man.
Kyle and Camilla. I think that they are great. And again, we're 40 minutes in, so let's just hop on in.
Yeah.
The player of the week, the player of the moment is Camilla. Camilla smoked this episode. Yes, Kyle joined in, but I just feel like Camilla spearheaded, and I feel like she emerged this episode. And so, like, yes, they both played an amazing part, but in my opinion, Camilla emerged this episode. It's not by these big moves. It's like by her natural instinct to do things where there isn't any communication between her and Kyle, and she just goes for it. Like that for me, very impressive. And I'm like, wow, Camilla is playing, and she is smart. And her knowing also, because Jack just talked, let me also just talk. We're going to need to put some respect on Star's name, because it is very clear we are not seeing enough of Star. One, because she's trying to figure out that idol, okay? But when we got the reveal that during the challenge last week that Star and Camilla were talking, and kind of like Star is knowing, hey, I'm on the outs. My team ain't really working with me. I need to spread my wings. I need to like get information to people to see how it can come back. That information that Star provided Camilla was pivotal. And for Camilla to take that, and I feel like Camilla and Mary, they must have went to the same school, because it wasn't even so much of Camilla like kind of letting them know about Thomas and how like, oh, it's not an option. It's the way Camilla delivered it for me. If you watch the episode, she's just sitting there and she's like, yeah, like, no, I mean, what I was told, like, it's not an option. You could not go. And it wasn't like she just was, it was the way that she said it, and then she just sat on the end of the bed and was like, huh. Like that for me, that delivery of like feeding somebody that information and like, it's like, it's a lot of tea, but it's like, if I give the tea to you too hot, then you're going to be like, oh, okay, you're trying to sway me, right? Like, it's how Camilla delivered the information for me that I was just like, oh my God, we think Thomas is a killer. Camilla is an assassin. Like, she's an assassin. Like, that was very impressive. So I don't want to diminish anything of Kyle. Kyle played his part, but Camilla set it up.
And I think if you just look at Camilla and her stature amongst these 4 dudes, it's like now she could like lean into that a little and just like sprinkle a little information and just act like she's not that cool with Kyle, and just it goes a long way to distract them from her really being this assassin. Respect.
Yeah, hats off to Camilla, because I really think that was very impressive. What do you think, Jack?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Camilla was absolutely like the player of the episode. It's a little odd to me that to me, Camilla and Kyle were 1A and 1B. Like, they were working in like basically perfect duo unison, and Camilla deserves all her flowers. But it is odd that you are pulling back from Kyle was played perfectly too. So to me, they both were crushing it, because Camilla was spearheading a lot of it and throwing stuff to him, but at the same time, Kyle's reception of all of that information and his way he responded was really great too. So they both deserve, I think, the utmost credit, because they did everything perfectly, in my opinion.
So let me ask you this: what is an alley-oop? And basketball.
You throw someone an assist in the air for them to dunk it when they catch it.
Can you dunk it without the alley-oop in that scenario?
No, but can you dunk it if there's no one there to catch it?
Right. But in this situation, if you're just running up and a ball is in the air, you going,
whoa. But Bryce, your analogy illustrates my point that an alley-oop requires 2 people,
yes, but what I am saying though is I am not debating. Kyle played his part. Kyle, bam, he slam dunked it. But
the pass was perfect. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And so it's like, can you dunk it without? Sometimes it's like, you know what? I'm an all-star player. I see Jack going in the hole. I'm gonna throw it up. Bam. I'm just saying, in my opinion, Kyle killed it, but Camilla created that play from what we see, right? Like, just right. She just, the way she was just like, oh, I haven't talked to anybody. They don't really know. And then, and Kyle killed it, because Kyle was like, let me guess, it was Charity. And then and then my Persian King was like, oh, it's clear they haven't talked. So yes, they both killed it, but I just feel like Camilla, she organized it. And also, it's just like, Jack, you were catching a lot of strays last week. I feel like, are we putting you to sleep, Wendell?
No, I was listening. I had an extended blink.
I feel like, Jack, Charity was catching a lot of strays this week as well. Like, I was like, we haven't seen a lot of Charity, but hearing people describe Charity, Kyle throwing Charity under the bus, Charity speaking so high of my man, but not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 nipple David. She's like, David's the type of player that I love. Like, and then David being like, yeah, I don't trust her. I can't, I was just like, oh my God.
There's got to be something we're not seeing with her, or we're going to see it with her. Because, we've gotten this whole Charity on the outs thing for a very long time, and now they're still talking it. And they've got to do something to show us that, because, people have been talking about that for a while.
Yeah. Wait, so... Yeah, I don't even want to dwell. I mean, I just thought Camilla and Kyle played. I mean, Camilla was the player of the episode in my mind, because you're right. She did lead the way a little bit. It was interesting because I don't think there's that much that Thomas really could have done, to be honest with you. I mean, it does, you know, we talked in the past couple of weeks, we loved his villainous activities in some of his lies. We did point out, you know, we were a little bit nervous that they can come back to bite you. And I think it's really interesting, and we could maybe get into this later, but now with maybe swaps being back, I think that changes a lot of how people should treat the journey. But to me,
Right.
Like Kyle was just the obvious choice Thomas was the obvious choice for Kyle and Camilla because of the fear that, you know, if he went on a journey, he could have something. If they take out Joe or Shaheen, then Thomas might have an extra vote he could use next week, and then your numbers are still not good. So you have to target Thomas, which was unfortunate because I love Thomas, but he's the only person that made sense. Even if he was like their favorite of the three, not saying that he was, but he was the only person to target. And I didn't really feel like there was that much that Thomas could do here.
He could have played his extra vote and split the votes on them.
True. But do you and credit to Kyle and Camilla for their acting job, but I think with all the information that Thomas had, it really, really did, like, that would seem so
absolutely, and it would throw him under the bus and show that he lied to his people.
Exactly.
This particular episode reminded me of Ghost Island when it was like a few episodes in, and it was right after our swap, and Dom, myself, and Morgan were trying to work with the Malolos that came over, and they were just telling bold-faced lies to us, and then they pulled a fast one on us. And
is that when James like spearheaded the?
Yeah, and they could have picked off any one of us, you know. And in this case, they had their pick of the litter with the three of them, the three big dogs. Any one of them could have gotten picked off. Very fortunately, I stayed in the game when that happened, and I made it to the end, and Dom did too. But they got Morgan, who was a player, and in this case, they got out Thomas, who was like.
Yeah,
we were looking at this guy like he was going to the end.
Yeah,
and the way he spoke, the way he would, like, everything about him was this beautiful villainous, likable character, such a tremendous narrator, such a great Survivor player, and bam, sniped.
Yeah, I didn't want this tribe to go to tribal just because I didn't want to lose any of these five.
Yeah. That and what tribe is this now, or what beach are they on?
It's Vula.
Vula got a lot of voodoo. Is cursed. But I was bringing this point up last week with Justin, and I was talking about the journeys, right? And you and I, Jack, were going back and forth because I believe Wendell was asleep. But just of us saying, like how I was saying, the journey, you can't isolate the journey. You need to like encompass everything about it. And I really think with Thomas here, right, he got a little powerful. And the thing that Thomas could have done, in my opinion, is been a little more honest, because just like Justin, I feel like had said he knew that Justin didn't have a vote and he didn't lie, things could have been different. If this was not new information that Camilla was bringing to Joe and Shaheen, this wouldn't have phased them. And so it's like, it's that fine line of, I need to keep everything to myself, but also I do need to divulge some information because people can talk and cross-reference, and that can come and bite you in the butt. So that's my only thing. And it's like, I love Thomas. And I think someone, again, shout out to people in the YouTube comments, they said like, Thomas necessarily isn't a villain, but he's playing a very selfish and great game, but he's not dehumanizing anybody. He's not disrespecting anybody. It's like, you know, when Jeff says he's not casting any more villains, I really feel like, and people were like, no, why would you do that, Jeff? Right? Because we do love these devious players, but I do love a player like a Thomas that is like devious, but there's a difference between being like a villain and being devious. And so like, I wish Thomas would have like just pulled back a tad bit, because that could have made all of the difference.
Yeah, you bring up a great conversation, but because now I don't really think this was much of a reason why Thomas went home, because obviously Joe and Shaheen still trusted him. But like we said, when all these lies were happening, and when Star and Camilla compare notes and this and that, it is going to come out and throw some shade on your back. And I think it's interesting because now, like I said, this conversation with these swaps back is like now, having been on a journey could be a target on you with players from other tribes, like it was here, because they're worried, oh, if Thomas has an extra vote, then say they voted out Joe, then Thomas and Shaheen could just use Thomas's extra vote next tribal, and so they have to go for Thomas. But I also think now, we talked about when you're honest about what you have. I think in a world where there's swaps again, that someone having an extra vote on your tribe is a huge asset, because if you get swapped with them, then you're like, oh, they could have the vote that keeps our tribe strong in a swap. So I think that sort of supports our. I guess we sort of concluded that it's starting to look better that to be honest about your journey to some extent, but I don't know.
Let me of course, this morning while I was in the airport, guess who rang my phone, Jack?
James Jones.
James Jones. And James Jones was a little perturbed that last week I didn't mention his name.
He was what?
Perturbed.
You don't gotta correct him that fast.
Thank you, Jack. Okay.
I like that you have that in the arsenal, though.
Yeah.
The pronunciation might have been off, but he had the word. He's expanding his verbiage.
Thank you.
King.
Jack, is it verbiage or is it verbiage? That's my question.
That's
a fair question.
Jack has had enough. No, but James was comparing the journey, and mind you, first of all, I had my headphones on. I'm sitting at the gate, and I started getting loud with James because we're going back and forth. But I feel like he won me over. Where James is considering the journey, that people need to start treating the journey like knowledge is power. And you know how like knowledge is power is such a threatful thing to have. However, it's more the looming threat that you have knowledge is power is necessarily the negative thing. And so if you treat the journeys like that, and it's like, hey, let me just be honest with you. Let me show you my hands. Let me bend over and cough. Like, I don't have anything.
What?
You know how it's you at the airport and the check to make sure you don't have anything on you, they make you like bend over and cough. Like, it's just better to be honest. And I was like, I was disagreeing, but I guess the caveat that James Jones was saying was that like with knowledge is power, when people know you have it, it's better for you to like get rid of it, let people know, because if it's the assumption that knowledge is power is so powerful that like people are going to snipe you.
Wait, but Bryce, well, and obviously you're just relaying James Jones's point, but maybe I'm misinterpreting. Isn't that sort of the opposite? Is that with the knowledge of power, if people know, then it can get you in trouble. But then he's saying that you should be honest about what you get on a journey.
But it's like, it's the speculation. Like the speculation alone of knowledge is power.
Fear of that you could have something is scary. Right. Yeah. I can agree with that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Look at Jack. Okay. Yeah. Jack and Mary.
Now, if James Jones had been the one to say it, I don't know if I would have agreed. But when you say it, Bryce, it sounds it works.
James Jones did tweet, retweet, say he's.
Did he really?
He did. But it was in defense of you. He was defending Jack.
Oh wait, did he like quote the tweet?
He like a quote retweet and said something short, but it was
okay. Yeah. Oh, well, that's thank you, James Jones. Well, you made it sound like he was like.
Well, I mean, that's like, what I do.
Yeah, Jack is always loud and wrong. No, shout out to James Jones. Well, that's, perfect example. James Jones and I could disagree on things, but it's all love.
But it's also James Jones. So, but okay, can we talk about? Okay, so go ahead. What you about to say? Because I want to I don't want to go into some murky water, but I do want to talk about something. So with the tribe shakeup, I'd love to know your thoughts on Eva gunning, just because because I can't be a hypocrite. Because what I said with James Jones talking this morning, be honest, give them the information because, but what do you think of Eva sacrificing Star?
So I know a lot of people would probably expect me to defend Eva in this situation, given that the whole internet thinks that Eva and I only like working with guys. But no, I obviously look, I don't mind getting rid of maybe if you were not working, but I always think if you have a move you want to make or some information that you want to disseminate, maybe have a one-on-one first. Maybe, feel people out. Don't get to the beach right away and be like, let's get Star out of here. Like, everybody.
But because time out, because I am a little bit of a hypocrite, right? Me, Monday morning quarterbacking, I'm like, I don't know if that's the best thing. But I also think about if I were on that island, and like I just am trying to gauge some footing, I'd be lying if I probably didn't take the first opportunity to like let them know about my ops, right? So it's like I'm not mad at Eva. I just wish Eva would have disseminated that to David's third nipple and then let David's fourth nipple disseminate it to everybody else. Because my only fear is because listen, like I feel like I gotta protect my baby Eva. My only fear of her giving all that information out is that like they're gonna use, I feel like the way that it was edited, it could be used against Eva, right? Like they could see that as like she's so quick.
Wasn't a great episode for Eva from an edit standpoint. Look, I hear you, bro. I see where she's thinking. The thing is, I think Eva, we've sort of seen, and I guess it's mostly as it pertains to Star, but I feel like Eva's like, here's my op. How do I get ahead of things to get rid of them? When I would really just love for Eva to not be thinking, how do I not have any ops at all? Like, right? So
right.
And I do, yeah. I mean, I do. Well, so yeah, I don't think it was a great move, and completely separate from her beef with Star, I do want to defend Eva though a little bit too, because I've been seeing a lot of stuff not related to this move or Star at all, but a lot of people online getting mad at her. About her saying like, "Oh, I only want to work with men." And maybe I'm not in this last week the best person to be the one to defend her, but it's like.
Maybe I should jump in because, Jack, I feel like...
Yeah, well, I'm just like, clearly,
I'd rather be in a room with all men.
Wow.
Right.
Eva documented or explained, detailed early on, like, that she has autism and the things that are attached to that. And it was beautiful. And everyone jumped to support her as they should. And now I feel like not to say that her stance or her association with working with the guys, whatever, it's not all to do with that, but I think the way that she explains herself and how I think she's a little bit more black and white. Like she says like, oh, I pretty much only work with God, this and that, and she's catching some flack for that. But it's like, if you were one of those people that jumped up to support Eva episode 1, as you should, then now the symptoms or like the things that are associated with her autism are being displayed, and now you're bashing her. It's like, well, don't support someone because of like the overarching thing, and then get mad at them for like the little intricacies that come with that, I think is what I would say.
Two things can be true.
Sure.
Right. And so again, I dare to say like the point that I was making last week and this week could be we could make for this case as like a game player, as like, again, it's within her right to share what she is comfortable with who she is comfortable with. But I dare to say that if she were a little more open with other people in her tribe, I don't think it would be as a big issue as you know what I'm saying? Like if it's like if she shares more, but again, it's her right to share how she wants to share and when she wants to share. But I think that if more people knew, I don't think that it would come across the way that it does. And again, I'm not mad, right? Like we as viewers, we know how Eva is thinking, and she's doing the best that she can do to protect herself. And I can't be mad at that because I wish on Cagayan I was doing the best that I could do to protect myself.
Yeah, but I don't even think it's been that big of an issue with her tribe yet, right? Like she's connected with David. She seems like she's maybe connected with Charity a little bit too. I don't think her tribe looks upon her unfavorably, other than maybe Star. But I just think, well, I guess the base also it's like if you want to win Survivor, but you don't really want to work with women, like you're gonna have to be able to work with some women. So I guess that's just like I hope for Eva's sake that she can shed some of her past like tendencies to be able to excel.
That's the
I
case
almost-
in life too.
What's
You
up?
said what?
I said that's the case in life too. Like it
Yeah.
helps to be able to work with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also easier said than done, right? Because I again, full disclosure, full transparency, like similar to Eva, right? Like I don't always in my mind, I was bullied as a kid from like heterosexual men. And so yeah, I have a lot of when I meet new people, sometimes I kind of will default to women. So it's like I can put myself in Eva's shoes and see what's happening. So I get that like 1,000%, but I feel like I almost want to see what we have saw with Say and Mary, where like they were completely opposite and now all of a sudden they've been bonded. I would love to see a world where like Eva and Star have a come to Jesus and all of a sudden, because you never know, Star might like the jet ski, like you know, because I feel like Star could be nasty on a jet ski. So I feel like again, if maybe they can come to some type of ground, and I also feel like some of that energy that like she has with men, I feel like she might be surprised the energy Star could maybe bring to her. Like it really could be like a whole new world. So I'm hoping for that. I don't know if it will happen, but I would love to see that.
And what an awesome spot on this tribe for Mary, where you have David throwing out his own tribe member Charity. You have Eva throwing out her own tribe member Star. I mean, it's a not only are you like a swing vote between the tribes, but you're a swing vote between the people within their own tribes. Like you got so many layers of protection. So
yeah. And listen, Mary might, when her and Say were talking, and you know, Say was saying, like, I'm looking at Cedric crazy, and the fact that in that time while we're beefing, you're still comforting me, that says a lot. I'm thinking, Jack, Mary could be the first winner from Philadelphia to win Survivor, because it's like it's these little things that she's doing that I'm like, hey yo, Mary. And shout out to Aman from the Casualty on the Purple Pants podcast. He texted me yesterday, was like, does Mary live in Philly? I'm like, yeah. He's like, I think she just rolled by me on her bike. I text Mary. I said, Mary, are you just on a bike? Mary said, no, I'm still on a bike. Okay. And so it was Mary. So shout out to our queen for not only killing it in Survivor, but also helping the pollution and riding a bike. Okay.
I mean,
Mary is the
pollution.
queen. Yeah.
And on a bike. She's athletic. We all know. So she's getting fit and active. Yeah. There we go.
Okay.
And then what did we think about before we circle back to, you know, tribal and everything? Wendell, I'd love if you kick us off with the new orange group of Chrissy, Mitch, Cedric, Say, and Bianca. What do you think about the dynamics over there?
Before he say anything, because y'all know say, oh, Bryce talk too much. Chrissy clocked in. We haven't seen a lot of Chrissy, but Chrissy clocked in.
I'm trying to remember. What I do remember is the way Cedric was talking about say as opposed to the way she was talking about Cedric.
But also, Wendell has spoken. Jack, let's give it up.
Thank you. My job here is done. Have a good night.
Here's the thing, though. Now, Jack, can we agree on this? I like the way Say handled it, right? Like, hey, when Bianca came up and was like, I want to work with y'all, what's up? Say said, you want to work with Jack? Do a vibe check and get back to me. If you messing with the vibe, then let's rock. Like, I like that. I kind of like, because I feel like sometimes in Survivor, if you put your opinion on somebody too much, then it's like, oh, Bryce and Wendell got a crack. So, like, but the way she said it is like, hey, get a vibe check, come back to me, let me know.
I like that.
Yeah, the way you're phrasing it, Bryce, I like that part of it. It did feel a little bit, I mean, even we saw at the beginning of the episode, Say is beginning to distance herself from Cedric. But should she? That's the thing. Because
I want Say to hear this.
I generally don't. Now, I'm not saying that in this instance there's necessarily a right or a wrong. I think Cedric was in a really tough position where he had to pick between his top two people and ultimately got rid of his, I guess you could say, his number one. And so even though he was a little bit wobbly with Say,
he's still demonstrating.
If I'm saying, he's still rocking with me. And so I still think Say should be proceeding, keep up, sleep with one eye open, but I think she should still be rocking with Cedric. And it feels like maybe she's not anymore, which I don't think is great. But to your point, I do think if I was on a new tribe, I actually would, it would be nice to hear someone be like, I feel like she threw a little shade on Ced, which I don't like.
Right.
To hear like, oh, like I'm down to work with you. And then if you want to go vibe check Wendell, Bryce, and see what you think about him, like maybe we can do something. But I want to work with you actually, Bryce. So for Say to be like, oh, I want to work with you, Bianca. You go see how you feel about it. I'm always the type, I love it when people are like, go form your own, like this might be my friend or someone I don't like, but you go form your own opinion and you can get back to me because I'm not going to tell you what to think about someone you don't really know. So I like that.
Can I give you my toxic trait though, Jack? Like I agree with that and I stand by that, right? Because that is the right thing to do. But also, I'm just being honest. Give me the tea though. Like I know it's not the great thing is. Yeah. I know it's not, but give me the tea. Yeah. Because listen, hey, when you and Wendell could be cool, Jack, and I'm like, hey, is Wendell cool? And Jack, you could be like, feel for yourself. Or Jack, you could be like, hey, Brian, Wendell still. Okay. Like, give me the tea.
Agree. But if I'm Bianca in this situation, I'd be like, give me the tea, but I am still gonna go figure it out for myself. Like give me the lowdown. Obviously you want to know, but there's always two sides to every story. So even in real life, I'm never just like, I don't just take someone's word for like, well, if it's like a ride or die friend of mine and they're like, yo, I really don't mess with this person, I'm not going to be like, well, actually, I got to go scope it out. But if it's like, oh, you just hear from like a friend of a friend, like, oh, you don't like this person, like, all right, well, let me go make my own opinion.
Right. Can I, real quick, because I know Wendy's getting tired. I do want to take some time. Did you see when Godfather Cedric had his moment to shine this episode when Jeff said, Cedric, or he's talking to the tribe and it's like, how's it been? And I need for y'all to see how Cedric again is doing these very minute things that I think people are missing. How's it been? Listen, children from this tribe, my children from this tribe, it's been very difficult. Each vote harder
Whoa.
to the
chill, bro.
This is Godfather said. It's hard. Each vote it becomes, and mind you, he's looking left and right as he's doing it. I feel like they're slowing down. I feel like Jeff gets on one knee and he's just saying like, it's not as easy as it looks. These people that you've been living these 11 days with, it's hard. And so I want to warn you guys that as you move forward, remember, keep the peace, keep the family together. It's not as easy. We're struggling. I feel like, and you look at everyone, because me watching, I'm just like, he's just talking. But I'm looking at Shaheen. I'm looking at Charity. I'm looking at all of their faces, and they're like,
They were nodding and stuff.
he's been through a lot. Oh my God. It's like he's like
He's
warming
them up.
He's the water is clean. He Jack doesn't get that reference.
I shouldn't get that reference.
Do you know what that means, Jack?
I was a little zoned out. Well, you said the water is clean
or clear.
Water's clear.
Oh no.
So if a gay man another gay man.
Oh,
The
what is
water's
that?
Clear.
What the hell does that have to do with Cedric?
Thank you.
I don't know. Sorry. Okay. But it's like he is warming them up. And that's how it has to do. Cedric essentially is saying, it's no more chocolate pudding. The water is clear.
That's
I just like how, again, Cedric is using his knowledge, his age, and just very subtly, telling this horror story and being like, we survived it. And so, hey, if y'all want to work with me, I got this knowledge. Again, I think not a lot of people are picking up on it, but I think it is working.
Yeah, I mean, that speech you're talking about pre-swap, it was great. Listening to it from home, I'm like, this guy's so wise. Like, he's got so much wisdom, and he's like even a mat, being on one of those mats and not knowing what they went through. I feel like just from Cedric, you could be like, it paints the whole picture. So,
and also you're getting it from this older gentleman who
he's not that much older. I think he's like 2 years older than you, Wendell.
You, Bryce. He's 2 years younger than
2
you.
years older than you. So
years younger than you, Bryce. I saw it. Cedric is 46. You're 48. Let's be real,
Wendell,
Bryce.
you're older than me.
Let's get it, Bryce.
Wendell, you're older than me.
You say that you're in your early to late 40s, early 50s, Bryce.
Wendell, you're older than me.
Let's go with it, Bryce.
You're older than me.
It, Bryce.
Wendell, you're older than me.
Bryce, Cedric's twin brother.
You're older than me.
Bryce, Cedric calls you Unc.
Okay.
Like I was saying, Cedric literally last night had this crazy decision that he had to make. He has been through it. So he is really he ain't playing he is telling them the truth. And he's an older gentleman, and they're understanding it. And
yeah, he's telling the truth, but I know what he's doing. And Cedric listens to the podcast, okay? And Cedric does not disagree with the Godfather.
This new tribe is interesting too with Cedric, because sort of like the new purple tribe, it's like, okay, Cedric's connecting with Mitch, Say is connecting with Bianca, Chrissy is there. No,
not too much on Chrissy.
Is that what you want, Jack?
Not too much on Chrissy though, because Chrissy is clocking T.
I actually do like where Chrissy's head is at.
Yes,
people always like, oh, Bianca's the swing, we got to get Bianca, but Chrissy's like, no, we can just get Bianca out, which I think is actually not a bad idea.
Jack,
I meant Chrissy's there in the sense that she hasn't formed that bond as much with anybody. Obviously, she's moving and shaking, but she's not that's in terms of the Cedric Mitch connection, the Say Bianca connection. Chrissy is sort of I wasn't really working with Mitch. I guess now I am, and that's sort of the extent of the bond. But I like where her head's at.
But she's loyal, and we see it because she wasn't really messing with Mitch, but she's willing to stay loyal. Also, I don't want no smoke with Mitch, because I also think Mitch is in a great position. I also think Cedric and Mitch having that conversation about stuttering, and like Mitch, one beautiful CNN did a whole little piece on Mitch on TikTok that was like absolutely great. And I think Mitch is just so amazing that it's like sometimes it's like we don't even see that Mitch is different. And I think that I love that about Mitch. And I love just like Cedric taking that time to acknowledge Mitch and them having that conversation. Thought it was very powerful. And I also feel like Say and Cedric, they doing the same thing, just different approaches, right? Because I feel like Cedric is making connections with Mitch, not putting anybody down, like, just real life connecting. And Say is connecting with my girl Bianca, and I love it. And meanwhile, Bianca doesn't have a vote, so Bianca just trying to like make sure that Bianca is playing. I don't know why I feel like in my mind Bianca and Maddie are so similar, right? And if Maddie could have stayed in longer, I feel like Maddie would have been very scrappy like a Bianca. So again, I love Bianca. She's killing it.
It's a tough spot for Bianca. No former loggies, no vote. So even if she is the swing vote, it's like awkward news, guys. I don't actually have a vote. I have a couple more questions about the tribal, but I want to ask you guys, if this tribe goes to tribal, what do we think happens? Because there's some moving parts.
I don't know. That's difficult because I really feel like it's anybody but it could be anyone but Mitch.
What about you, Wendell?
I kind of agree.
Okay. I'm going to call a shot, and I would love if you guys would also narrow down to a name just because I'm curious. Like, I mean, I get, but I think what I think would, if they wants to travel, I feel like Cedric, Mitch, and Chrissy would stick together. Like you guys said, Mitch is kind of the glue guy right now. He's got a good relationship with Ced. Chrissy seems to want to stick with him. And then Chrissy's sort of thrown Bianca out as an option. And you think about that, if Bianca is on the bottom, Ced's still going to ride for Say. And then Bianca doesn't have a vote. She's from Loggy, which is a little bit dangerous. So I think it would be Bianca. Not like, through no fault of her own. But that's what I would be worried for Bianca.
If you're saying for me to say a name, you've already said Bianca. I don't want to say this, but I'll say Chrissy, only in the sense where Chrissy has narrated to us that Mitch hasn't been necessarily working with her. I feel like if Seti still is messing with Say, and Say is with Bianca, and Seti brings Mitch, and Mitch, I could see Mitch being like, well, I'm not really with Chrissy. So that's how I could come to the Chrissy conclusion, even though I don't want no one from this tribe to go, but I could see that. But I definitely don't see, with the connection that Mitch and Cedric has made, I don't see it being Cedric, because I feel like Mitch is in such a great position. Mitch ain't gonna play with that. And so there is a world, I don't want to say it, but there is a world where I can see Bianca as well, because although Say is putting out feelers, I do feel like a part of putting out feelers is like, okay, just creating options, but at the end of the day, she still will go with the majority. So anything can happen. I think that very, very interesting.
You have one of those, when you lost your vote, you get it back after a tribal, right?
Jack?
Yeah.
Okay.
And speaking of, so we started, and I want to end with this crazy tribal that happened. And I want to talk about this extra vote a little bit. And it's interesting because there's some things that I don't even know if we know. And so before I get into the discussion of like, should they have played this extra vote now or saved it? I'm curious because I've seen people saying differing things. Does an extra vote play again on a revote? Like if Kyle extra voted Thomas, and then they go say it ties. Like say he plays the idol wrong and it's 3-3. On the revote, does he get to vote again? I've heard a lot of people say yes, but I've also heard people say that no, and I don't really know. And that matters a lot to me because, like, I think because if he can vote again, then it's going to tie. Say Kyle played his idol for Camilla, and then it ties, and he gets to vote again. Well, then it's going to tie on Thomas and Kyle, and then they're going to go to rocks. And obviously, Kyle and Camilla would both be safe, so they're going to force the rocks, and then Shaheen and Joe would be drawing rocks. So theoretically, with that knowledge, that the idol, whoever you play the idol on, doesn't matter. It just matters that you make somebody safe, and then of course you would play the extra vote because then you know you can force you 100% are certain you can get a loggy out. But in my mind, I don't think the extra vote should be good on a revote because it's an extra vote. You get one extra vote. But I've seen a lot of people saying it does carry on. But do you guys know?
I think I asked Q that yesterday, and he said it only applies the first time. I also wonder if you're on the island and you have that question, are you able to like ask that to a producer? And the answer is probably yes.
See, I mean, I would hope it's yes, but I've also, I saw someone theorize like they probably wouldn't tell you because they want the chaos of whatever the tribal that ensues.
True, actually, you're probably.
But so okay, I think for the sake of this discussion, let's assume that the extra vote does not play again on a revote. Then the question that I have is, do you play this extra vote now or do you save it? And so and I'll lay out kind of my two sides to it, and then you guys let me know kind of what side you're on. Arguments for playing the extra vote. I think the main one is that if Thomas went on a journey and lost his vote, then you play the extra vote. The idol doesn't even matter. You guys, then they're good, which is, I mean, if you think about a journey, it's about 50-50 that he might have lost his vote. So I think that's a great reason why you would play the extra vote like they did. Arguments against playing the extra vote, I think the main things are that I feel like them searching their bag in front of Camilla was a very, very genuine sign that they were going to vote Kyle, right? Like,
I agree.
Right. And so once you have that understanding or once you have that in mind, then the idol is the only thing that matters, and you should save your extra vote because if they go to tribal again, it is still 2-2. But if they had their extra vote next tribal, then it would be 3-2. Now, again, I don't know if you need to be thinking ahead like that because you got to get through the tribal that you're about to go to. But if you're like, if you know 100% that they are voting for Kyle, then you shouldn't play the extra vote. You should just
vote. So then let me add a little more complication to this, Jack. Yeah. Do you think, say you don't play the extra vote, but it is tied and you have to vote again, do you think you're allowed to then play your extra vote?
I don't think you're allowed to.
Okay.
I think it's like an idol. Like you can't idol on a revote. You have to idol up top.
Yeah.
But it is to me, it's really because it's, if you know they're gonna vote for Kyle, then obviously you save the extra vote. But then the question is like, how much does them searching his bag indicate that they are going to vote for him? Because at what point of uncertainty are you like, well, it's just worth it for us to get through this tribal, put an extra vote on Thomas in case he doesn't have a vote, and then the idol doesn't even matter. I don't know. Like, I don't. What
better safe than sorry. If you stay on the island the next day, Thomas.
Yeah.
Played with fire. Thomas went home with an extra vote in his pocket.
Yeah, I'm with that. It's too many variables. Like, you got to do it. But also, can we talk about Kyle for a second? When Camilla was telling him, they said, they checked your bag. Kyle said, they did? Did they find anything? Camilla's like, no. He's like, why didn't they find anything? Camilla's like, I don't know. Why didn't they find anything? He's like, they didn't find anything? Camilla's like, no, be cool. Then Kyle goes, then
It was
it's in my shoe. Kyle!
like, your shoe is on your damn foot.
What? What? Kyle, that first of all, I was with Kyle, Jack. Like, I was like, oh my God, like I felt his nervous energy. The way I was like, I sat up. And mind you, again, peep how calm Camilla was.
Yeah, she's like, yo, chill, you good.
Kyle said, Jeepers creepers, they went in my bag. Camilla is like, chill, bro. My bag. Camilla is like, hey, yo, hey, shut up. Did they find anything? And Camilla's like, if they did, would I be telling you right now? No, chill. My bag. Camilla's like, yes, chill. I got you. How did they find anything? Camilla's like, I don't know, but I gotta go. They're coming. All right, see you later. Wait,
Yeah.
Camilla.
It's in my shoe.
They didn't find it because it's in my shoe. If I was Camilla at that point in time, I would have went to Shaheen and said, Kyle. Okay. But that's also why I love Kyle, right? Like, I feel like Kyle is such a Kyle is such a nice person that the fact that they went through his bag tripped him up. Like, he was like, did they find it? Bro, you've been limping all day because that idol is on your heel. Like, that's why it's like, you just gotta love Kyle. Like, I really do. Like, but I was so confused at that, Jack. I couldn't, like, I was like, what's happening?
Yeah. And yeah, you reminded me, sorry, you reminded me of a great point about Camilla too, that I really liked, that to me is a sign of a great, great player. It was a little bit smaller, but her being the one to be like, all right, Kyle, you're going to take my extra vote, I thought was really smart, because she looked at it like objectively that if anything happens to her, Kyle at least will have the extra vote.
Right.
B, if it does tie, then and maybe you get to use the extra vote on a revote, well, then Kyle's obviously going to be safe, so he's going to get to vote again regardless. Whereas if Camilla's in the tie, then she loses her vote and would lose her extra vote. So I feel like, to me, it just shows that Camilla knows the objective best move. And even if that means her giving her stuff away to an ally, she's the one who's ready to pull the trigger on that. I think that is the sign of like a top tier player.
Jack, I am ready to serve in the Camilitary. I am a Camilla meter. I was a little like not weary on Camilla, but I feel like sometimes with an archetype of Camilla, like we see these people or these type of players getting picked off, right? And so I'm just like, I don't know how Camilla's going to do, but yeah, Camilla is ready. Yeah. We want you, and I want you too. Like, I am a Camilla meter. Like, she has won me over. I see it.
Like at the trajectory she's at right now, there it could be. I mean, real early, it could be one of the best new era games for sure. But like, it's early. But you know, if
we could have our second Guyanese winner.
She was so dialed in.
First.
Huh?
If she won, she'd be her first.
She'd be the second.
She'd be the first. And also, hey, haters, hater alert. Not the misogynistic, picking a woman, not a woman of color, okay? So run tell that. I'm just, sometimes you gotta let them know, Jack, okay? Yeah. So, Jack, are you ready to serve?
Aye, Captain.
Wendeezy, are you ready to serve?
Aye, Captain. Reporting for
millimeters.
She's gonna win
$1
million.
Camilla.
Chameleonaire.
I'm a young money Camilla. About that Nigeria, Teriyaka, Pedayaka, Redis isn't there. I'm a malaria disease like a minstrel.
You got to put cut in front of it, but okay.
I
know that. I know that one.
Who is it?
Lil Wayne, a Millie.
No.
How could you get that wrong, Jack?
What do you mean? That's
Jack,
what?
that's Juvenile.
What?
Wendell. Oh my God, Jack. How
Wait,
could
wait,
you
wait,
get
wait.
that?
Is that
Jack? That's Juvenile. Ugh.
like that's the
Yes.
Look at him Googling. Let's go Google. It says Lil Wayne on my Spotify.
Okay, all right, listen. We're on YouTube. Don't play it. You right, Jack. You right. Okay, we was just messing with you.
y'all trying to gaslight me, bro? Was
Okay.
that was that like a did he sample someone else? Or that?
No, it was all Lil Wayne. I was just choking your chicken, Jack.
After the week I've had, y'all gonna come gaslight me about the smidgen of culture that I know for sure that I know.
All right, Jack, I got one for you. Name me 2 Juvenile songs.
I don't even know who that is. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
All right, name the set that Juvenile is with.
If I don't know who they are, how would I know?
Name
Just think.
the city that he's from.
Okay.
I don't know who it is. How would I know?
Look,
what
Jack,
city?
we're making it hard, but we're not making that hard.
How
So
would I?
just
If I don't know who someone is, how would I know what? city?
So normally when we say artist, it's normally a play off of an artist that we've already talked about.
So Lil Wayne.
And so what city is Lil Wayne from? What's that?
Are you kidding me?
Is he from? I don't want to get it wrong now.
Oh, please do.
I was gonna guess Atlanta. but is that-
I know you clap.
New Orleans, baby.
Oh right.
All right. Well, listen.
That's bad, Jack.
My
Jack
bad.
has been through enough this week. Jackery,
Come on.
we appreciate you for showing up, staying 7 toes down, speaking your mind.
Yeah.
We love, we respect you. We will
Hopefully, I'm gonna have to be ready tomorrow when this goes live. I really don't want more. Like I don't even want to be arguing. I'm just defending I don't hope this doesn't spiral into more. Like that's not what I don't do this to try to argue with people. Like I'm not.
45 minutes.
Well, that's I had a lot of people come for me for things that I thought were pretty reasonable.
And
so
they're gonna come back for you.
And if they do it, like I'm ready to. But that's the I don't do this podcast with the intention of like making anybody feel bad about themselves or but
and
so,
I think people get that, and I also think that say is.
Well, look, I'm what am I Twitter beef number like 75 of the season? Like it's not a big deal. Like
what I'm also just
probably
confused
had
about is
more since you called me out. So it really isn't.
Jack, you don't even use Twitter, so I was just confused at how Jack.
Well,
Jack
when you send it to me, I'm gonna get on there and have a word.
Well, listen, Jack, we love you. You're the best. We got your back. It's all love. The posse's here. The Jack Shack is here. You are now a Camilla meter, and we're here. This has been Survivor News, Season 48, Episode 4. We'll be back next week covering Episode 5. It's the Purple Pants Podcast. You better listen in public, might make your stomach hurt. Ooh. It's the Purple Pants Podcast. You're trying to unwind, you better get that box wine. It's the Purple Pants Podcast. You're trying to get your snack, you better hurry right back though. It's the Purple Pants. It's the Purple Pants.